Well, Cunners, your form of late has been remarkable. What do you put it down to, and how comfortable are you feeling out there at the moment?
Yeah, I suppose week by week, since I've had a bit of a time off, I'm getting more comfortable. I suppose starting with my running ability. My first couple of weeks back, it was pretty tough, and I got subbed out the first one just to chop me out a bit, and then until really the weekend, I felt I was getting to more contests and feeling a bit better in my legs. So it was just obviously helping out me normal game as well.
You were voted by most media as best on ground on the weekend. I think you had the 34 possessions. It was an outstanding game. Was that one of your best games of your career, do you think, from a personal level?
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose they're all different, but yeah, don't know. It's just good to be back, like fit, feeling good, and just getting amongst as many contests as I can. And it's obviously a really good win for the club. So yeah, I was just happy to be out there running out the full 4 quarters and getting a bit of ball and playing good footy.
Aside from the fitness, like where do you reckon you've made the biggest gains from a football perspective?
I think just working on my strengths as well. So like my run's always been my weakness, but also just working on my strengths is being an inside midfielder, the contested ball and the clearances. So I spent a fair bit of work in the pre-season on my body work and with Croc and all the middies, and really look up to Jack Zeeble. Probably since I've been drafted, he's sort of taken me under his wing a bit, and sort of similar plays, and just I suppose looking at that strength and using bodywork to my advantage just to give me an extra second, I guess, to put myself in best position to win the footy and going our way.
It's funny you say like Zeebs has taken you under his wing because the age gap's not that big, maybe a year.
Yeah.
Is that a little bit weird that someone only a year older is, you're kind of almost your mentor in a way?
Yeah, I suppose it is weird. Like even like through juniors, like we played together, but still like he's just got that leadership, everything about him. I look up to him, so it is weird. He's like pretty much the same age, but like just everything he does, I admire and really take in, because I do feel we're similar players. So anything I can learn off him will just help my game as well.
With that you're so similar, you've obviously had a similar upbringing with footy in the country, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Do you see it as important that players like yourself stick together for the long term and the benefit of the club and also individually? Yeah,
I think so. I suppose everyone's different. They get their role models and their player they look up to and how they want to play, and if you stick by them and throughout your whole career you'll keep learning little things and helping each other out, you know what I mean? So I think it definitely helps a bit.
If there's one thing you could take from Jack's game and put it into yours, what would it be?
He's courageous. Just the way he attacks the footy, like it's like no other. So if I can just take that into my game, just go a bit harder and head over the footy, I'd definitely love that.
Mate, you're not far off.
Yeah, no, he's not bad.
Mate, with respect to the break that you had from footy, obviously it wasn't under good circumstances at all with your dad. Can you share with us what happened?
Yeah, so it started a couple of months back. He got crushed by a cow. Didn't think much of it at the time. I think looking back now, they said he had internal bleeding. Being a farmer and as tough as Dad is, he didn't say anything or go to any hospital or anything like that. Carried on, and a couple of months later he got a little nick, which created an infection. Then just from there, sort of just went downhill quickly. He got gastro. We presumed it was gastro, and just sick that night. And Mum and Jack come in from milking the next morning and saw Dad, and it just went really downhill quick. An infection got into his bloodstream. Then he was going in and out of conscious from there, and he had to be flown down to Geelong and to be operated on as quick as possible. But then, sort of just went downhill from there, and just scary.
So he's a dairy farmer, and he obviously had that initial incident with the cow rolling onto him, and then a cut to the skin, and then it obviously unfolded so quickly and without warning. Yeah,
so it was sort of weird. I was sitting in my house ready to go to Perth. Had a phone call from Mum. So I knew he was sick with gastro, we presumed, and Mum let me know. And then that morning he wasn't well, and Mum sort of said, "Oh, Dad's not well. He's been flown down." And like I saw it hit you, like it hit me, but I never thought it was going to be what it was. So like we got onto Donald and I said like, oh, Dad's been flown down. Is it all right if I don't fly it with the boys and like I go and meet him in Geelong? And everything was sweet, like the club were great. They said, yeah, don't worry about doing the pre-game training. We'll just fly you out tomorrow. And I said, yeah, it's like all good. Like it would work out fine. So I went down and saw Dad, and he had his major operation, which went for a fair few hours. And even after that, Donald was with us, and it come out, and nurses and everyone said like it went well. And we're still we're a bit mixed with what was going on. So we were pretty happy. We're like, oh, like the operation went well and all that. So we were pretty happy, and I booked my flight for 5 o'clock the next day to come across and play in Perth. But then the next morning, me and Mum and the kids spoke to the surgeon, so the boss, and then he really gave us the details that like Dad was in a coma. We didn't know how long it was going to be on life support, and then it just went downhill from then. And yeah, next couple of months, like it wasn't just a one night thing. It was a long road.
You guys were told it wasn't looking good at all, weren't you? Like wasn't there a rating out of 10 that he might not survive?
Yeah, so the first 4 or 5 days looking back now, was like fatal. Life was on the line. It was just surreal, you know what I mean? Like we would go back, like we rarely spent any time away from the hospital, but when we were back, it was like Dad was just outside, just going to get dinner or something like that. We were just waiting for him to come home. It was weird. You never really expect it to happen to you, and eventually it did hit us, and it was just a roller coaster. But between the family, we all stuck fat and tried to help each other out. But even the club, to that extent, the club was outstanding with support and also understanding. So I appreciate all that.
So it's safe to say the footy would have been the furthest thing from your mind at that time?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was difficult because like I love the footy and the club and everything, but when it's your immediate family, like not much else matters at that time, and that's what I was worried about. Like I was just thinking about Dad, like we can't lose him. You know what I mean? We've grown up as a close family, and yeah, it got pretty tough there for a bit. But yeah, with the club, like Scotty, he just said like, don't even think about footy. Just stay with your family, stick tight, and just be there for Dad. Because we just wanted to be there beside his bed, even though he's in a coma. Like we feel he could have felt the vibes, you know what I mean, just to sort of help him wake up. So in that aspect, the club was great.
And mate, you must get your fighting qualities from him, because he's been able to pull through, and although he's not completely out of the woods just yet, he's shown some amazing improvement, and he's doing pretty well. Oh
yeah, he's an absolute fighter. Yeah, if I take half of his fighting and courage, it's definitely going to help me out as a footballer. But yeah, so he spent 11 days in a coma, life support, and he woke up. And once he woke up, I was still pretty rocky, but we knew physically he could fight it, you know what I mean? So once we woke up, we were pretty happy, and like it's still always going to be a long road, but like we knew with him, like he's just such a fighter, and he's pulling through pretty well.
If Jack Zeebel's kind of like your mentor, someone you look up to on the field, would your dad be your hero?
Oh, definitely my dad's my hero. Even before the accident, always looked up to Dad, but now this, like fighting through this, yeah, I really respect that and appreciate and just love him to bits. So it's great he come through.
Is it changed anything that you do on the field? Does it put things into perspective a little bit at all? Like, when you run out onto the field, are you thinking about him and what he went through and what your mum went through and your family?
I suppose footy was sort of good to get back into it, to sort of take my mind off things a little bit. I was still definitely thinking about him. It was obviously tough the first couple of weeks back, but the boys, it was good to get around, just have a laugh. But the goals I kicked, they were for Dad. So obviously when I kicked them, it was good to get a couple on for him, just to see him smile, because he loves when I kick a goal. So yeah, it still goes through your mind, but obviously when you're hurting and that, like I look at Dad now, like nothing hurts, you know what I mean? So just things like that, you just try and keep fighting, and like even if you have a bad game or something, like don't get down. Like it's not the end of the world, you know what I mean? So
The first goal that you kicked when you came back for the Richmond game, that was especially significant, wasn't it? Because he basically said to you he wanted you to kick one.
yeah, he wanted a goal. So at that stage, it was still in and out of remembering things. So it's still a bit of hit and miss whether I was going to play or whatnot. But yeah, apparently when like I kicked that goal, apparently he got all tearful because he's been watching me on the TV. And then I went straight to Geelong after the game, and yeah, he broke down again. So it was good to just make him happy. You know what I mean?
Mate, we'll move on. Obviously, it has been a tough time for you, but on-field's been absolutely brilliant. Are there key areas that you're working on now that you've taken, obviously, a great step in your career? What's the next level for you?
I suppose consistency and just taking it to the next level in regards sort of like all round. I suppose my fitness is still my number one priority. I feel if I get fit, keep getting to more contests, that's when I can use my strength to win that contested footy. So I'm hoping to finish the year off strongly, and then leading into this pre-season, really hoping to have a real big focus on my fitness and really come out firing next year.
And one last one, have you actually been able to launch that $500,000 boat that you bought to go fishing with?
Yeah, I've had it a couple of times, so it's a good getaway. So
how much did you spend on that, by the way?
No, not enough. So no, it's been bloody good taking a few boys out, and yeah, they love it.
All right, thanks for your time, man.
Thank you.